led by Reverend William Barber and Reverend Liz Steele Harris, the work that Dr. King started in '68. And so in this country right now, we have 140 million poor people, 1.2 million here in Iowa. And so in the last debates for the last elections, none of the candidates, Democratic or Republican, said anything about poverty. And so I'm interested, even you talking today, you never said anything about poverty. You referenced the living wage and other things. But America has a crisis right now. As King said back in '68, that America has not been what America said it would be to the people in America. And so there are people now living in Lowndes County, Alabama, who have sewage in their backyards. I'm originally from Saginaw, Michigan, which is next door to Flint, Michigan. People talk about the water crisis in Flint all the time, but there were 74.5% of people in Flint living under the poverty line because of the jobs that were lost because of the automotive industry. So I hear you, I love what you're saying, but it's very interesting to me that we never say the word poverty when there are 140 million poor folks in this country that are poor. 62 million of them are white. And so we know with the Southern strategy how they tried to pit poor whites and blacks and Latinx and First Nations against each other. You being a person of color, how do you plan to bring us all together for that one nation, one destiny to close out the poor gap?
What I've seen over the last 40 years is that we have rewarded people who are doing well more and more. And it's been getting harder and harder for people who are poor to ever get up into the middle class or beyond that. The United States used to be a country that had the highest level of upward mobility. No matter where you started, you could climb the ladder. And there are countries around the world now, several of them, that actually have higher upward mobility than we do. So, number one, I grew up part of the time poor.
Yes.
And so I have
Yes.
an understanding of what it's like to struggle and what it means. You know, I remember when I was a kid, for instance, going with my mother to the grocery store, and my mom had made a list. She would make a list of the things that we were limited to getting because that's what we could afford. And I always hated lists because of that. You know, we'd walk into the grocery store and you'd see all of the things there in the grocery store. But you knew that you were limited to this little list of what you could get. And I remember watching TV and all of the advertisements that would come on, especially around Christmas, and basically being a constant reminder of what you weren't going to have instead of what you could have. And what I want in this country is that if somebody is growing up poor, not only that they can believe that they can achieve their dream, but that they can actually achieve it. So how do we do that? Well, we need to connect the dots of what allows for them to actually climb in the first place. That's why improving their education is a big part of that. That's why investing in their communities, whether it's Flint or it's Baltimore or it's Detroit or it's San Antonio or it's the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, investing in their education, in their job opportunities, in their transportation infrastructure, in clean water, in making sure that they're growing up in a safe neighborhood that respects them, where they can feel safe and they don't feel targeted. All of those things are important. And you know, I'm proud of the work that I did at HUD to extend opportunity to people who are living in public housing, who are poor. And one of the biggest disagreements that I have with this administration is that they make it seem as though if you're poor, something is wrong with you. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And so if I'm president, I will focus on those things that people need in the 21st century to be able to rise. Yeah, here, and then we'll go here. Yeah.